want to point out, if I can, that each of you has a slam-in system. That's the first requirement to be able to do what we're doing. Those of you in, well, let's start with the introductions. I'm about to point here at this device. Mike, why don't you tell us who you are, where you are, and what you're using to get connected to the internet.
Okay. I'm Coach Michael Grossman from Bureau Valley High School, located in Manlius, Illinois. We're using the slam-in system along with some other technology to try to have an internet match with Quincy Notre Dame in Quincy, Illinois. My players are Kristen Riley, Alex Nicely, Laura Brummel, Brandon Bishop, and Sean Berhaney.
Okay. And you're using this type of ring-in device, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And each of the students has one of these. Now let's go to Susan in Quincy.
Okay, I'm Susan Schmitz, coach of the Quincy Notre Dame football team, and I have Brett Baker, Eric Ealing, Morgan McPherson, Caleb Fisher, and Christopher Yoakum, and we're just using the slam-in system and the phone and the computer.
Okay, and you're using this type of ring-in device?
Yes.
Okay. So both teams have a slam-in system. They look a little bit different, and they're both communicating to their computer through a wireless receiver which is plugged into their computer's USB. But that's the easiest part of this. The other part that we just spent quite a bit of time on is trying to figure out a way to reliably be able to speak with one another. I, for example, am using microphone and speakers on my laptop computer. Mike, is that what you're using?
Yeah, well, actually, we're using the telephone speakers. But we could just as easily shut off the telephone and use the speakers on the computer.
Okay.
Maybe that's why did you do that yesterday?
Yeah, we shut off everything but the telephone.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And which we've done today. We shut off all the computer speakers and we're running straight through the telephone.
Okay.
All right. And Susan, you're using a regular phone like this, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let me go on just for a second. For the benefit of those that are watching remotely and have never seen this before, getting the phone connection is critical so that we can hear Neva pose the questions in the match and then hear the team's answers so that she can judge them. And then the other thing you need is something like GoToMeeting, which we're using today, just some sort of remote desktop software. There are many of these types of products out on the market, and they have two characteristics. One is that, just as you're doing right now, you can see someone else's screen, and in this case you're seeing my screen, so it's a screen sharing application, but just as important to that is that this is an environment where Mike and Susan can actually help me edit a document. So we can work on a document together, or in this case, their keystrokes coming from Quincy, Illinois and Manlius, Illinois can be received by my computer here, and then slam-in knows what to do with them. So GoToMeeting is an application that I subscribe to, and I use it for work all the time, and it costs about $50 a month, and I could sign up for it for a month and I could cancel. It's not something that you commit to like a cell phone plan. But there are other tools out there that are free or close to it. For example, Yugu is completely free for the first 100 hours, I believe, in a given month. And View, V-Y-E-W, is another that we've tested with customers and it works fine. And then Wimba Classroom is another that we've tested with other clients. And Wimba is fairly widely installed within schools. There may be a list of 20 others that work. They just need to be able to allow us to see the same screen and to interact on the same application. So there's no magic here at all. We just happen to be using GoToMeeting. Any questions so far?
We're good.
Okay. I suppose what I could do right now is I could go to slam-in and I could put in the names of the players and the teams. So this is an online slam-in match. And this is a tool that's typically used in a face-to-face setting but is going to be used today over the internet. So Team 1 is going to be QND, and Team 2 is going to be BVHS. And I'm capturing all of these keystrokes for posterity, those forward and those back. I know that on this team, Laura, you're right here, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have Sean here.
Yes.
You.
And then Brandon, did I spell something incorrectly?
Nope.
No, it's okay.
Okay. And then Brandon here. And then here we have Alex.
Yep.
And here we have Kristen, Kristin, right? Whoops, I left something out. How's that, Kristen?
Good.
Okay. So over here with Quincy Notre Dame, on the Quincy team, which should be Team 1, you're plugged into your Team 1 transmitter, right, Susan?
Yes.
Okay. Who's in number 1 on that team? Is that CALEB?
Yes.
Okay, and number 2? Number 3? Morgan? And number 5, Brett? Oh, wonderful. There we go. Now, I'm going to take us over here to the play side. And this is what a slam-in screen looks like. And I'm going to ask Susan. Susan, can you pick up your mouse and move it on my screen?
Move it where?
Just move your mouse so that it moves on my screen. Now, I want you to click in the black area around the score box. Okay, did you do that?
Sure.
Okay, just click once. That's all I'm going to do. Okay?
Okay.
Susan, did you do that?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, I'd like for you to do the same thing. Okay, Mike,
Yes.
did you move your cursor and click?
Yes.
Okay. What these two people just did is they made Slam-In their current application, which means that I'm really not needed at all. They could take turns running the Slam-In application, but I'm just going to be the sort of MC for what we're about to do. If we weren't around, actually, Neva, you and I are important people, but we're not really needed here.
Correct.
These two coaches could do this all on their own and simply take turns reading the question. Let's do a quick ring-in test and make sure everything's working here. Let's start with Quincy Notre Dame.
Something about the cursor had to be someplace, remember?
Right. Okay. So Sean is rung in.
Team 1.
There's Eric. Now Quincy's showing up.
Team 2.
Brandon, okay.
Team 2.
There's Laura.
Team 2.
Alex.
Team 1.
Morgan. Very good.
Team 2.
There's Kristen.
Team 1.
And there's Caleb. Is that everybody?
Team 1.
Obviously not. Is this the last person of the 10?
Yeah. No, I don't. Maybe one more.
Team 1.
Okay, so Quincy Notre Dame, are you all in? QND, are you all in?
Yes.
BBHS?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, good. Wonderful. Well, that's all that I'm needed for. It's now in your hands, Neva.
Well, there you go.
Well, actually, we agreed yesterday that I will call out their names as they ring in.
Yes, because sometimes I'm not looking up.
Okay. So,
Okay, welcome to the Quincy Notre Dame BBHS High School Scholastic Bowl event. My name is Mrs. O'Laughlin. I'll be moderating your event today. It will be in IHSA standard format with a 10-part a toss-up worth 10 points, and mostly I think I have 4-part bonuses worth 20 points total. Are we all familiar with those rules?
Yes.
Okay. just because I can't see any of you today, you're going to have to wait for somebody to call on you, just so that I know who to answer and who to award the points to. All right? Or I mean, Victor does all that, so it's no big deal. So are we ready to begin? Would we like to start with introductions, or are we done with that since we've done that with Victor?
We're good to go if they are.
Are you good to go? Was that BBH HS?
Yeah, that was BB.
BB. How about Quincy? Are you ready? Quincy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just keep in mind that you're very soft, and you'll have to speak very loudly when you answer. Toss up number 1, language arts vocabulary. In Catholicism, this adjective describes the doctrine that the Virgin Mary was born without original sin.
Brett.
Quincy.
Immaculate Conception.
That is a correct answer for 10 points. Your bonus is in also language arts, and even though I just said it was all in 4 parts, this is in 3 parts. Are you good with that, Victor?
Yes, you just tell me how many points to award.
I will do that. 3 parts in Brit Lit. Identify these works of Charles Dickens. Number 1. It takes place during the French Revolution and begins with the line, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." Number 2. Uriah Heep is the villain in this novel. Number 3. This novel, Dickens's first, is centered on a character who founds a namesake club. You have 30 seconds. Time has been called. Okay, Quincy Notre Dame, go ahead.
Part 1, The Tale of Two Cities. Part 2, Great Expectations. Part 3, Oliver Twist.
Number 1 is correct for 7 points. That leaves 2 and 3 available for BV. Go ahead.
Part 2, Oliver Twist. Part 3, Great Expectations.
Both of those are incorrect. Uriah Heep is the villain in the novel David Copperfield, and the Pickwick Papers, or the posthumous papers of the Pickwick Club, is his first novel.